So I got a new one for you guys. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, whichever one. So I had made mention in one of my previous videos that I was going to start doing some reviews on just, I don't want to say random animes, but ones that aren't really in the spotlight. So every now and then, we all know the run-of-the-mill popular anime. You have Attack on Titan, then you have My Hero, Tokyo Revengers, whether it be Black Clover, or I know there's another one, it's probably a handful of them that I'm missing. And then you have, I believe, Chainsaw Man is anticipated for the anime release soon. So those are the run-of-the-mill ones. We know the popular ones, but there are some that just kind of fly under the radar. And those are the ones that you have to be comfortable and you have to be willing to step outside of your little bubble of what's popping and just watch something you've never heard of. So I went to the excuse me, the dreaded Netflix, and I went into their anime section, and I have a few outlets. I have a Funimation account, I have a Crunchyroll, Hulu, and they count too. They have a selection, and then of course Netflix. They have quite a few original series. So just scrolling, I usually just look at what the description says while I'm scrolling, and sometimes I'll just decide to click on it. That's how I actually came about Seven Deadly Sins. Never heard of it, never researched it, never read about it, none of that. Just was on Netflix, took a chance, and it was okay. It was pretty good. So I was like, yeah, I know Netflix has a history. So long story short, I did it the other day, and I came across an anime called High Rise Invasion. Now, I read the description, and even though the description didn't really wow me, I still clicked on it and gave it a chance. And it's a one season, a one and done so far. But I clicked on it, gave it a chance, and I started watching it. And at first, I was like, within the first 15 or so minutes, I was like, this is kind of corny. But I like the main character. She's funny and she's fun, and she has a certain charisma about her. Just to kind of continue on with the character, I can tell, and it does have a little bit of a, I would say, extra in the particular animation style. And it is a little graphic. It definitely isn't something that I personally would recommend that you watch around the kiddos, but hey, to each his own. Like I said, it is graphic in some ways, and like some of the art and animation, but I was able to actually look past it. So what this particular anime does is that it just goes full steam ahead. First 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, you pretty much have the grand setup. So this is pretty much a spoiler-free review as well. But there really isn't. So she wakes up. She's in this different dimension that revolves around a bunch of buildings. And usually most of the events so far, they're going to take place in these buildings or on top of these buildings. And she encounters this villain with the mask. And she's able to overcome the villain. And she then I believe she gets a phone call from her brother. And from there, her main mission is to reconnect with her brother and to destroy this supposed dimension that they're both currently trapped in. But what is interesting about this particular anime is that it kind of has two different stories, but I'm assuming at some point they're all gonna kind of end up at the same end point. Now, like I said, this is a one season so far. I haven't looked into any details about a second season, and they do a good job with balancing both objectives, and they make both sides interesting. And then not only that is Yuri, which is the main character, her brother is what was his name? Rika. I think it's Rika, something like that. And he has it's pretty much, even though Yuri is the main character, and Rika's her brother. They both kind of have parallel stories that are fairly interesting one of themselves, and they kind of both act in revealing the grand scheme of why they're in this dimension and what goes on in this dimension and what are the rules and who's the main villain. And as the story progresses, they both come into contact with their own set of side characters. And that was another thing that I found interesting in this anime, is that the side characters, they're fairly interesting as well. And not only the main character, the side characters, they have pretty much their own stories as well, and they all kind of develop as far as character develop. They develop very quickly, but it's not enough to where if you don't watch it, you'll miss their development, or does it lack interest in these particular characters. So, like I said, overall, it's not on a wow factor. It's not your Attack of the Titan story or anything of that nature. But with this particular one, I mean, it's watchable. It is one worth, I believe, checking out if you like just random ideas, and if you like fun characters that also have some depth and development, and it also has some mystery, in this particular show. It does leave on the last episode with that particular mystery, and it's interesting enough to leave you wanting a second season to see how this plays out. So, High Rise Invasion, I would recommend it. Check it out. Sometimes, even though certain channels and outlets, maybe they do have a rep, and we all know what happened in 2021 with Netflix and what's going to be upcoming. But sometimes it's still worth the dig. You never know what you may find. And, just always form your own opinion. Now, once again, collectively, if those opinions just kind of, they all kind of go into the boiling pot of the masses and everybody kind of agrees, then, that's just, it is what it is. But give it a chance for yourself. This particular anime, like I said, I like to go in and find a random. I checked it out, and it was pretty good. So, if you haven't seen it, are you considering watching it? Or, if you just maybe want to stick to the mainstream, but, like I said, I recommend it. That's been my review of High Rise Invasion. I love you guys. Peace.